What's up, everybody? This is Brad, and Donald Mustard has done an interview, and I'm looking on pulling it up right now, or some of the key takeaways from it. That it's on a website that I don't really want to pay to read the to read an article on, but luckily some of the Fortnite Twitter leakers have pulled from some of the core things from this interview. And I'm taking this from iFireMonkey. So I'm not going to post the tweets directly, but I will read from what iFireMonkey has posted. So let me see. Who was this interview with? It looks like it says GameFile News. I don't know who that is. I don't think I've heard of that one before. But anyway, let's see what they got here. The first one here, the first piece of the interview. Where did it go? Okay, here it is. This is about the Vibin season, Chapter 3, Season 3. It says, Mustard also began itching to work on new projects and decided to accelerate Fortnite's story. He crammed in some high points. And this is a quote. This starts the quote from Mustard. I threw myself a fireworks show. I got Darth Vader in, got Indiana Jones in. I've got to make sure I've got all the stuff that I needed for me. That's why that season is called Vibin'. It's all just like hanging out, just a celebration. And so that to me comes across as he wanted to basically have this be his swan song. The Vibin' season was going to be him going out on the highest note possible. And I mean, considering like we know he's a big Star Wars fan, the fact that he got Vader in there in the Battle Pass, Indiana Jones in the Battle Pass, there was an Indiana Jones specific POI on the map. Vader was a boss. And then I would even argue that, like, yeah, working in that first big mini pass for Dragon Ball had to be a big win for him. I mean, as far as I'm aware, that initial tweet of Shenron over the reality tree is still the most liked tweet in Fortnite's the account on Fortnite for Twitter. It's their most liked tweet. I think it's their most hyped collab they've ever done. And so the thing, and that to me is like weird because Mustard didn't leave Epic until I think around the end of Chapter 4. But it looks like, and he may have still worked on Fortnite, maybe just not as like the big one. But it looked like he was wanting to move away from the company. We'll get into some more of that stuff. But as far as that season goes, that was my favorite season. I love the Dragon Ball collab. Being able to do the Kamehameha, it was awesome. And I would rank this up there. The thing I would say though, it was a good season because of the Dragon Ball collab. I gotta, like, as cool as Darth Vader is and having Vader as a boss, that season kind of dragged. I gotta clarify that. It wasn't the best season. There really wasn't much story stuff going on there. And we'll get into that stuff where he talks about accelerating the story. I think that comes up a little bit later. But I love the Dragon Ball stuff. Donald Mustard considers the Fortnite island to be its main character. He said, from the start, Mustard wanted Fortnite to feel like it occurred in an evolving world. Other multiplayer games had sequels and expansions or added new maps. He wanted his game's playing field to feel different. The island will evolve and will change over time so that we build nostalgia and history with the story, Mustard recalls thinking. That was always there from day one. So, I think the idea was, as he said, like, as you see with Overwatch, the original version of Overwatch is dead. You can't play that version anymore. There's now Overwatch 2 because it looks like they've decided. I remember reading somewhere else, he said, our game's not going to end. It's a live service game. It's not going to end. So we need to do something different so that it will feel like it's new, but it's not. And that's where the idea for stories, for the chapters came in, and having the island slowly change over time. so that as certain things change, or certain parts of the island will change, others will stay the same. Not everything will be changed. Some of the stuff will be left alone, which then you mix in the new with the old. It's an evolution. It's not just scrapped. And I think that's why the first two chapters of Fortnite were actually around for 2 years. And I think that's why people loved Fortnite OG so much. People had come to miss the first island. And as we talked about in the roadmap video that I did recently, people also have grown to miss Chapter 2. I missed Chapter 2. And even just from playing in the first Fortnite OG season, I could see why people missed that first season, that first chapter. I could tell from just the way the map looked. I'm like, yeah, I can see why people miss this now. There's a certain appeal to it. And it's sad that that's gone. But yeah, I think that there's a benefit to doing that stuff. And by the way, they do recycle POIs in the game every now and then. You'll see an old POI come back. Maybe it's got a little bit of newness to it, but like the return of Tilted Towers. Like, people like that. And it seems like nowadays, though, it feels like a lot of these the game just not a lot of that old school stuff in there anymore. The game really does feel like it just, when Donald Mustard left, it feels like they severed ties with what the game was. Like, we don't care what he did anymore. We're gonna do what we want to do. All right, so the next piece here from iFireMonkey said, in 2023, Mustard decided to leave Epic. He was working on a secret new project about which he'll only say that it isn't a game, or wasn't a game. It says, now from Mustard, it says, it started to be out of alignment with all of the stuff Epic should be focusing on, he says. Mustard told Epic CEO Tim Sweeney he was leaving. His goal, he says, is to develop technologies and processes to help figure out what is the storytelling medium of the future. And what does that even mean? Honestly, I don't know what it means, but I've got some ideas, and we have some ideas. But I've got some ideas, and we have some ideas. So he's working with whatever this team is to build a storytelling medium for the future. And this just feels like more metaverse talk, of like this desire to live in a cyber world where you play games here and you work here. Like, you can't have those things be separate. Even for like somebody like me who like wants to make a living playing video games and making like videos on YouTube about playing video games, like that's still not the same thing. You know, I don't want to boot up Fortnite and then have like I don't want to have my job be inside of Fortnite. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to that kind of thing, I want to be able to pick, like, what games I play. I want people I want my job to be entertaining people, not playing a game for a company. You know what I mean? That's not the same thing. I don't know why the focus for the company can't just be entertainment. And maybe this is what he's talking about by the storytelling medium of the future. Like, you can do, like, the Fortnite live events are basically little movies that you kind of play. Stuff like, the Telltale series, like Batman the Telltale series, where it's a story, but you kind of can influence a little bit of what happens. Like, that's okay. It's still kind of a game. That's what, like, visual novels are. These multiple, like, split, path roads and stuff, like where you can pick different things and what the characters say to each other, or how your character interacts with another character affects what happens later in the story. Like, yeah. Like, video games are great for, like, interactive storytelling. But, like... And, like, is it cool that for a bit you could watch episodes of Dragon Ball Super inside Fortnite? I mean, I guess. But, like, if I want to watch Dragon Ball Super, then like I'll just go watch Dragon Ball Super on like a Crunchyroll, or I'll buy the DVD. Like, if you don't have a DVD player or Blu-ray player, or you don't want to subscribe to Crunchyroll or whatever, then I guess okay, that's convenient. You can watch a select handful of episodes like you can watch 6 of the 131 episodes of Dragon Ball Super within Fortnite. But okay, I don't know, man. Like you've got one of the most popular video games in the world. Is that not enough? I don't know, man. It's some of the stuff just seems like it's we want more for the sake of it being more. I think sometimes you should be happy with what you've got. Next up, it says Donald Mustard's statement on what he wanted Fortnite to be. I wanted to create a place that was basically like being out in the backyard when you were a kid in the 80s, or playing with your toys on the playroom floor, he says. There was no one there saying, well, Spider-Man's allowed to do this, and Batman's only allowed to do this, and Barbie can't hang out with Spider-Man. I'm like, I want to create something where you can hang out with your friends and express yourself however you want. Now that I actually kind of agree with what Fortnite kind of is, with all of these skins and collaborations and stuff. It's the idea that you can take your action figures and do anything you want with them. I remember plenty of times where I would take all of my various little toys and action figures and have them interact, and I thought that was cool. Like, hey, yeah, I'm going to have Goku beat up Batman because I have those two figures. I'm going to have them become allies and go solve a mystery together, or whatever the case is. Maybe Superman's too busy, so he got Goku to do it instead. And Batman's going to go catch a couple of Pokemon or whatever. You know, but look out, Mickey Mouse is over here and we need to go save Mickey Mouse. Like, yeah, that's interesting. Gigantic crossover stuff is always going to be interesting. I mean, that's part of why people love Super Smash Brothers. It's part of the appeal of Kingdom Hearts. Like, big crossover. And I still think that, like, yeah, Fortnite's Battle Royale managed to get popular on its own, but I think that the collaborations brought in an entire other, like, smaller audiences to be part of that too. People love the collabs. I think people get sick of them sometimes, but I think as long as you keep them fresh, then people will like them. Like, I think people are pretty happy with the Avatar: The Last Airbender things they're doing, where they put they put the 4 main elements airbending as mythics in the game. Like, yeah, that's cool. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collab, I think, was handled pretty well, with all of those mythics in there, with the turtles' weapons. Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, I agree with this. The idea of like treating the skins like they're action figures, and everybody can bring their own action figures that they like and play together and do it in the best way, like as many creative ways as possible. Like, I had an idea recently of like, hey, you're doing this you've got like this Dragon Ball collab. Okay, you've got the Kamehameha in the game. Why don't you like work together with Toei and make a specific Dragon Ball Fortnite map where, sure, you can take your Batman and your Barbies or whoever else into the Dragon Ball map, but it's only like Dragon Ball related items. Maybe you create some melee attacks as like you use the power pole as a mythic. You bring the Kamehameha in. The Nimbus Cloud works just like it does. Maybe you add the Piccolo, the special beam cannon, the Maken Kosapo, the Gallic gun. You know, maybe there's some other stuff. Maybe you could do you can just do a bunch of different stuff and just have it be, okay, here's an official Fortnite Dragon Ball map that will stay as a permanent mode. And if you love the Dragon Ball collab from Chapter 3, then you can go play this mode and it will always be there. It won't ever change, so you won't have that evolution like in Battle Royale where the map is constantly changing. There will be nothing new here. So you play the same old thing over and over again, or maybe occasionally, but then you miss out on Battle Royale. I don't know. If you just want to keep doing stuff like that. The original black hole was Donald Mustard's idea. His part of the interview about why he wanted it is below. This is a live service game, he remembers thinking. We're never going to have a sequel. So how do I do a sequel without doing a sequel? Take the game offline, he realized. Make people miss it. And bring it back just different enough for what would be Fortnite Chapter 2. A few of us would actually decide everything that's going on in Epic, and so I went to them first. He says, they're like, we love it. We support you. Go for it. Or you go for it. The marketing team was more skeptical. So I went, all right, everybody, here's this crazy idea. We're doing this, and we're turning the game off for a month. I knew it wasn't going to be a month. People were like, what? Really? I just wanted it to be 3 days. So over 6 months, we were planning this crazy thing, and I let them whittle it down to exactly what I wanted in the first place. So the original idea, or the pitch, as he had, which in his mind, it was only going to be for a few days. But he told everybody, we're going to take it offline for a month. And they were like, well, we can't leave our game dead for a month. Like, people will just get tired. People will just go away. If it's down that long, we run the risk of alienating our fans. And he was like, and he already probably knew that and was like, yeah, we can't go offline for that long, but we'll drop it for a few days. The people who play every day will get tired, or people will start to miss it. And then when we bring it back, we'll keep some of the POIs, but it will be an entirely new map. An entirely new map. Some of the POIs will shuffle around a little bit, but there'll be new stuff and some old stuff carried over so that people don't feel like it's the old map is completely gone. And I think that worked for them. There's not really anything else to add to that part, though. But that was what I was talking about earlier. The last season Donald Mustard oversaw was Vibin. When asked about live events, this is what he said. It was resources, Mustard says. Now here we're getting into the good stuff. By good stuff, I mean bad stuff. He wound down his work on Fortnite in 2022. The last season he oversaw was Vibin, the game's 21st season. That was Chapter 3, Season 3. By mid-2022, Epic was committing to build LEGO Fortnite and Fortnite Racing, which was Rocket Racing, the new expansion of Fortnite into a proper multi-game metaverse that would go live in December 2023. To build all this stuff, it takes so many people and so much time, Mustard says. Basically, the event team was starting to be needed to work on other stuff. And it was devastating to me because I'm like, this is actually the magic. And not everyone at Epic agrees with that. Now, I would like to know who everyone at Epic is. And I'm sure he would love to say Tim Sweeney. But I don't think it takes that much. There's not a lot of, there's not that many lines to read between, I think, from that. And I'm sure it's not just Tim Sweeney. But Tim Sweeney has been all over the metaverse concept. And I think for him to think, we don't need the live events. I'm like, what? Everybody always hyped up the live events. And I think it's telling that the first live event that people outright despised and said was like the worst one they've ever done was the one after Mustard left. The Fracture event was just a gigantic showcase for creative. We've been over this before. And people hated it. Because what happened? Did we get to fight back against the last reality and being chromed to maybe fight back and save the 7? Maybe save the island? I mean, we all kind of expected with the big announcement this was going to be the end of Chapter 3. It was going to be a short chapter. We expected the island to be destroyed. We just wondered, like, what was going to happen? How was it going to play out? Like at the end of Chapter 2, we got to briefly fight back against the Cube Queen and her monsters. Did we lose? Decisively. They destroyed us. But then the 7 swooped in and helped us and saved us and flipped the island. And that started Chapter 3. And then began the whole season build for that first season of Chapter 3 was to prepare for the next season, the war with the Imagined Order. Finally, we were going to get the 7 versus the IO. And that had been building up since mid Chapter 2. So there was investment in that. We were excited to see that and what was going to be the fallout of that, where the 7 actually did defeat the IO. Not everyone was thought, like, we knew Gino, the head of the IO, was still out there. But the 7 was still around. The 0 point was free. What was going to happen? And then we see when we see Chapter 4 start, the 0 point was not seen at all until Fortnite OG. And it looked like the 0 point had just completely gone dormant and dead. Because it was clearly sealed away at the center of the Chapter 4 map. Because you could hear the sound effects for it there, like, really muffled. It was real quiet. And then in like I think in like Chapter 3, it's Season 3, when the earthquake brought out that jungle, you could see the dead 0 point. Like, okay, so they just killed off the 0 point. Something that was very important to the story. Why? And now it looks like from Chapter 5, the first season, there was no mention of the 0 point. There doesn't even appear to be a place on the map where the 0 point is. So it looks like the start of Chapter 4 was sort of like a soft severing of the ties with the previous Fortnite stuff. I thought they were going to continue it because the Oathbound was clearly a snapshot of Gino, the ageless champion. That's directly tied into the lore of the Imagined Order. Mega City. We were introduced to the Peace Syndicate in the Vibin season. Eve or Evie or whatever her name is was part of the Vibin season. Then she became an actual important character to that part of the story in Chapter 4, where the Peace Syndicate is trying to unite the different syndicates in preparation for a battle with the what appears to be a potential attack from the last reality. But that last reality attack never happened. In fact, the teasing of like the Triarchs, we only ever got 2 of them. The third Triarch never showed up. Whatever happened with that? Which gets back into my complaint about this game, just dropping storyline plots just for no reason. Like, oh, this is unresolved? Well, too bad. Yeah, sucks for you to get invested in the story. That's not what we're worried about. But, yeah, I'm sure that one of the people he's talking about here is Tim Sweeney. It can't not be. And that's why I continue to say Tim Sweeney sucks. Because Tim Sweeney even admitted that their big push for creative flopped. It was a massive failure. Donald Mustard's official statement on the lack of Samus in Fortnite. So now we're getting into the Nintendo stuff. So we already got to crap all over Tim Sweeney again. I'm up for that any day. Now we get a chance to crap on Nintendo. So, yeah. Oh, everybody's catching it this time. Here we go. They, being Nintendo, got really hung up on their characters showing up on platforms that weren't their platforms, Mustard says. Fortnite ran on all consoles and PC, even mobile at the time, meaning all the crossover characters would show up on all those devices. They would be thrilled to have Nintendo characters in Fortnite, but just only if it's on their platform. Epic would not okay platform-specific characters, though. For me and for all of Epic, we're like, that is an absolute must. We want to make sure that Fortnite is the same experience no matter what screen or device you're playing on. Now, here's where I defend Epic in this particular case. This is a really stupid, petty thing for Nintendo to care about. They're not asking you to put Metroid on the Xbox or on Steam. You don't have to do that. They're saying, can this character be a skin in the game? In a game that everyone can play on any platform, can people just be able to buy her skin? Now remember, at the time, Sony agreed to give Epic Kratos. If you bought the skin on a PS5, then you got an exclusive variant of Kratos. Microsoft gave Epic Master Chief. If you bought the skin on an Xbox Series S or X, then you got an exclusive version of, or exclusive skin variant of Master Chief too. But you could also have a Nintendo Switch and buy Kratos and Master Chief on them. So it wasn't just like Nintendo was getting slighted that their character would have appeared on these other consoles. No, Sony and Microsoft's characters were going to appear on the Switch. So it was perfectly fair, perfectly even. Just like a similar situation happened when they made Who Framed Roger Rabbit, one of the greatest movies of all time, by the way. Yes, I'm going to say that. The studio got permission from Warner Brothers and Disney to put Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in the movie. And I'm sure all the other characters as well, Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, all those characters got to appear in Who Framed Roger Rabbit as long as the Warner Brothers characters and the Disney characters had equal screen time. So, if Bugs Bunny was going to be in this movie for 30 seconds, then Mickey Mouse had to be in the movie for 30 seconds. And that's really about as long as they were. I think there's only like 15 seconds worth of footage featuring Mickey and Bugs. But, you know, it's a legendary moment in, I would say, cinema history. Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in the same film, together on screen together, interacting, talking with each other. Probably will never see that again. Unless David Zaslav depreciates the value of WB so much that Disney eventually buys them. I pray that never happens. Disney does not need to own Bugs Bunny. For the love of God. Please, please, please don't let that happen. Whichever government entity needs to make that not happen, please don't let it happen. But yeah, this is just dumb from Nintendo. It's an investment in letting people who maybe have never owned a Nintendo in their life, maybe they see Samus and like, hey, you know what? This is a cool looking character. She's cool. What's she from? Metroid, a Nintendo game? Maybe I should buy a Switch and play whatever Metroid games are on the Switch. But no, can't have that. No, can't have that. Can't have collaborations where everybody is working equally on the same thing. Let's see. I think that's pretty much the main takeaways from that interview. As far as I can tell. At least from the iFireMonkey posts. So, I guess shout out to iFireMonkey. I used your posts. I hope that that's okay. Yeah, that account is at iFireMonkey on Twitter. Because I'm not calling it X. Yeah, what do you guys think? I still think that the focus away from Battle Royale story sucks. I think that they had already invested all that effort into building the story, and people actually cared about it. For them to just say, like, no, we're going to go with all these extra game modes. We're going to throw in, you know, we want to have everybody in this game just, we want to make this the one game you play ever. Rather than just like having people care about the game. I don't know, man. I just want people to enjoy. I don't think that that Fortnite needs to become a metaverse. I don't think that's what people want. I don't think people want to live in the game. I think they just want to have fun. Like, I'm as big a fan of escapism and all that stuff I love, people need their escapism. But I don't want to live in Fortnite, you know? And so I wish that they would realize that they don't need to abandon Battle Royale. I completely agree with Donald Mustard that the live events were the unique thing about Fortnite that got people excited. Yes, I think Battle Royale excited people too. But I think that it's just a complete Just they just to cut the live events and have them now. The last two live events we got were just demonstrations of other game modes. And like I like the last one, the end event or whatever, the Big Bang event. Yeah, that one was actually not bad. Yes, it was there to promote the new game modes, but at least it felt more like one of the older ones. It didn't have us aimlessly running around this weird broken up map for 45 minutes collecting little balls of light. I mean, that was a horrible event. But I don't know, man. I'm a big like it's like the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you want to grow something, then that's fine. They could test and evolve with Fortnite without taking away from the stuff. But then like it just goes back to like this whole metaverse thing. It feels like it's just about the money. It's not even about like having any sort of integrity or identity for the game. It's just like, what can we do to make more money? If gutting our life, we're going to go all in on this metaverse crap that nobody's really interested in outside of like tech bros and like the crypto guys who think that, oh, we'll just digitize everything. We'll run businesses through video games. And it doesn't sound fun. It sounds like they're taking the fun out of gaming. Like, I play games to get away from life for a while. I don't want to bring life into the games. You know? I don't want to log into Fortnite and then go have to punch the clock. I don't want to log into Fortnite and then see like I'm gonna go to a like have you ever seen those videos of like those like staff meetings in metaverse where they want you on like a computer on your Xbox but you're in a business meeting? You're on company time at your house. Like that's what all these big companies really want anyway. They want you on the clock at your house. They want you every waking moment of your life. You are working for them. You should be making them money somehow. They want you at work making them money, and then they want you at home making them money. You don't have any freedom anymore. The company owns you. That's not fun. It's not fun. So this whole metaverse crap to me, metaverse, crypto, a lot of that stuff, but specifically the metaverse thing, is taking what's fun about video games and then removing one of the main reasons why people like people like art, people like playing video games because they're fun. To me, that's taking the fun out of video games. The metaverse is a video game that is not fun. It's not made to be fun. It's made to find a way to trick you into thinking you're playing a video game when reality is you're just working. And I don't want to do that. When I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm at home, when I'm having my leisure time, it's my leisure time. What I do with my leisure time should be up to me, not the company that I work for. Sorry. Anyway, I've ranted enough. I have no idea how long have I been talking for. Oh, over 30 minutes. I'm sure everyone is just thrilled to listen to me talk for almost 35 minutes. But anyway, there you go. Donald Mustard kind of saying like, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the direction that they're taking the company, so I got out of there. Which he didn't say it that way. It seems like he wanted to, there were other things he wanted to do, whatever the secret project is he was working on. All we know is it's not a game. So I think they said he is officially retired from the game industry. I hope somebody at Epic that was around when Donald Mustard was around and knows that people seem to still have that. Like Donald Mustard has good faith. Like, I don't know if you could say that he has the same level of pull as like, I would say maybe, yeah. Like the same sort of respect that maybe it's different, but it's kind of on the same level. But like how Masahiro Sakurai was able to get everybody to work with him and give him, all these different characters to make Smash Brothers. Well, Donald Mustard got all these big companies to give them Darth Vader, to give them Naruto, to give them Goku, to give them Spider-Man, and RoboCop, which that was after. No, RoboCop was before he left. A lot of the collabs you see in Fortnite today are because of the work that Donald Mustard did into building up the goodwill with Fortnite as a game. And like I said, I don't know how far he would have went to this metaverse idea, but I don't know. If something is making you a lot of money and is very successful, like Battle Royale has ended up being, then I don't know why you would just intentionally sabotage it. Like, I think that they even said, I think even Tim Sweeney even confirmed, yeah, they put less focus on Battle Royale in hopes that they were trying to migrate people over to creative mode. People didn't care. It's not what people wanted to do. They didn't want to give up Battle Royale. Killing Battle Royale off to try to drive people over to that, or to, they didn't kill it off, but they clearly, got rid of those important plot points. And I still don't like the way that the last few seasons have ended. The end of Chapter 4, the Kato Thorn with the Eclipse and everything, the Vampire Fortnite Mares thing, where one of the missions, the last mission revolving around this character is go kill him. No live event, just go kill him. And then you get some experience for killing him. And then, as far as the story goes, that character's dead. You killed him. It's over. Now you've got to wait a week for the OG season to start or whatever it was. And then how the Chapter 5's big story was the society has kidnapped Peely. Well, how did that get resolved? The same way. You do a couple of the in-game missions, and then you unlock a loading screen with Jonesy carrying Peely off with a big smile on their faces. That's it. No live event. Nothing. You get a loading screen telling you saved Peely. It's just so lackluster. I'm not saying that every single season needs a live event, but, it just doesn't feel like that was a big deal. I don't think there was any voiceover lines from the last season that I remember. They've got some for this Mortals vs. Gods one, but they didn't even address, the storyline took a break to do the Midas thing, and Korra is not even involved in this. That's just a side thing. So I don't know, man. But anyway, I've ranted enough. I'm going to go do something else now. What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe. Check my other videos out if you would. And maybe become a member of the channel. That would be nice. But yeah. Frustrating stuff. Not always. It's not just Tim Sweeney. Nintendo too. Nintendo doing what they do. Being hard-headed and refusing to kind of it's good publicity. They should have put Samus in the game. But anyway, I'm out of here. See you guys later.